This is a short video on the Bellinger Little Giant Rougher, available at genuinebellinger.com. The machine is a simple machine. You're able to lift it up and store it on a countertop. It doesn't require a permanent place. The heart of the machine is the custom cutter. I'm just going to remove the dust shield for everyone to see. It's a custom 60-degree cutter, so it's a single pass and it cuts a 60-degree strip at a time. Typically you do 2 or 3 passes for your completed strip. You change the elevation on the machine by turning this knob at the front, and that raises or lowers the bed of which the strip rides upon. And there's a nice infeed system that's fully adjustable to the width of your strip. And there's a series of custom wheels that you change. The machine is set up now for a rectangular strip, and then it's also provided with another set that you use once the strip gets finer. It's powered by a Porter cable router system on the back, so it's got plenty of power. The machine is a single operator machine. You can run it by yourself. What you need to do is have the dust shield installed and a good dust collector to get rid of the bamboo, because it cuts a lot of stuff and there's a lot of stuff flying around, so you got to get it out of there. And I'm going to get a couple strips now and fire it up so you can see how it works. A couple things to mention before we run the strips. One, you want to get the nodal hump off, otherwise as it goes through it's going to raise the strip up into the cutter and you're going to get a narrow waist. So you're going to get the kinks out of the bamboo, flatten your nodes. You can see this is a really healthy piece of bamboo. It's really thick and it's well over 1/4 inch, probably about 300 thou wide. So I've lowered the bed all the way down. I'm going to lock the screw. Let's give it a short tighten and run the strip. It probably won't remove much cane, but it's a great starting point, and then we'll raise it as we go. So now we're going to turn the machine on and the dust collector on. Now we're letting everything quiet down. You can see that all the stuff is gone with a good dust collector, and we've got a great strip. It's a little bit truncated still, and it's still really big, but it's a fully triangulated strip. The only thing we're going to do now, we're going to change the infield wheel to reflect a triangular infeed as opposed to the flat from a rectangle, and we're going to raise the bed and run the strip again. So we remove the infeed, which is designed for the flat rectangle strip for the first pass only, and we're replacing it with the triangular infeed. And this wheel is pretty deep, so it's designed for early going cuts or for butt sections or for bigger rods. These are all come with the machine. They're all, you don't have to calibrate anything, just give it a quick tighten. And then we have to raise the bed. I'm going to give it 3 complete turns. 1, 2, well, 2.5, because I'm being lazy. There we go. And now we're going to fire the machine up after putting the dust shroud back on. So we're just going to fire up the machine. We've changed the infeed, bumped it up, just an arbitrary amount, because I know we're nowhere close to where we want to be. But it's going to remove a nice bit of bamboo. And then after this we'll measure the strip, and then we can get a little more scientific. So on with the dust collector, on with the machine. So now you can see the strip's looking good. It's no longer truncated. It's still really a beefy strip. We're just going to stick it in the dial calipers with a V-block. and get a good measurement. And this strip is 240, so it's still really big. That would give you a half an inch thick rod at 240. Obviously this machine doesn't taper. Bellinger makes another machine that does taper called the hand planer's friend. This strictly gives you a uniform diameter strip. But at 250, we're going to do another pass, get it down to about 180, let's say, and that's going to give us a good strip for a butt strip. I like to leave them about 50 thou over so that I can scrape off the enamel and then stick them in the planing forms. And that 50 thou gives me lots of room to work with. The other thing, I leave the strips a little bit long in case you get sniping at the end or the beginning, which you do get with power equipment. So leave your strips long and then cut them down when they're finished. But you can see even where I stopped, there's no black marks. The machine hasn't left any marks at all. So we're in good shape. So we're going to just cut for a moment and raise the bed on the machine. I should mention that once you've used the machine a few times, you get used to how much cane you're removing by moving it up and down. I've got some cheat sheet notes that I use. I can also measure with the dial indicator the height of the bed. So there's lots of ways to control the height of your cut. It's not hit and miss. So when you've used the machine for 2 or 3 rods, you'll find that you get pretty good at guessing. Some strips that are small will not even remove any cane at all. I wanted to use a big strip. The other thing you'll notice, there's no fuzzies on this. There's nothing like the old milling cutter machines. This strip is sharp and ready to go. So we're all set up for that final pass that will get us to a butt strip. And here we go. So that strip is now 200. So I can decide how much more I want to take off. If I'm going to do a butt strip, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to change these wheels to finer ones, and I'm going to close this down. When I started the infeed, this strip was full of the width of the infeed. Now you can see how much cane I've removed. So I should probably readjust these. Why don't we do that? We'll readjust these, we'll do one more pass, and then we'll call it a day. So here we go, we've closed the throat up. You can see there's no slop in there. It's a nice, as the strip gets a little more flexible, you don't want too much error going in, so we're going to do a tight job here. This will be our final pass for the butt strips. And we're going to turn everything on, make some noise. And there we have a final strip. Nice and sharp on the edges, nice and clean to any size you want. We took 4 passes to get down. You can typically do it in 3. This was a really big strip, and it takes all of minutes. You can do a full rod section in about less than half an hour just by running them through. And if you have a partner, he can be pulling the strips out while you're pushing them through, and as fast as you can push them in, you're going to cut them down. That's the Bellinger rougher. Information is available on the Genuine Bellinger website. And if you have any questions, you can email me at canebuilder@gmail.com.